Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie and today I'm gonna be doing my April polish pickup wish list. So in case you don't know, polish pickup, or PPU for short, is this monthly pre-order event that takes place on the first weekend of every month. There's always a new theme and a ton of indie brands that do a lot of nail polish contributions, but there's also like some hand and nail care items as well. I was super excited to learn that the theme for April was video games because I really love them. I wouldn't really consider myself like a gamer, but I do have a lot of fond memories of playing video games growing up with my older brother. So I was just really looking forward to this theme, but I will save more of my thoughts at the end. For now, let me just show you my wish list. Okay, so here is the website for polish pickup this month. It's going from April 5th to the 8th, and the theme is video games. So let's just get into the nail polish and start with these first two rows. So right away, the thermal from Amya Cosmetics. I never heard of that brand before, so apologies if I'm mispronouncing it. That's catching my eye. It looks really cool. I love the transition between the colors, but I don't even want to get into it just because thermals just tend to die. I don't wear them enough, but that one looks stunning. I actually do kind of like this very first one from 1422 Designs. That looks really pretty. The Alchemy Lacquers looks really nice. In a way, reminds me of Cirque's Velveteen. But so far, I'm feeling pretty safe here where I'm not super drawn to these polishes, so let's just move on to the next chunk. Okay, and here I'm also not immediately super drawn to things. I mean, what's catching my eye is this by Danny Viana Lemmings flaky. It looks so magical, but I feel like it kind of in a way reminds me of Mooncat's When Hell Freezes Over, which if you did miss that one, this shade might be a good alternative. I think the flakies in this one are a little bit larger, but aside from that, it's kind of spot on with the colors. Super gorgeous. And the other one that actually is catching my eye, but again, I don't love that it's a thermal, is the Cadillacer one called the Killing Moon. This one's inspired by Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, and it's described as a very deep eggplant, cold, to orchid, warm thermal, packed with light blue iridescent flakes. I love how this looks in the cold state with the eggplant color and those blue iridescent flakies. If it was just like this, I would definitely be adding this to my wish list and probably getting it. The orchid color is nice, but yeah, it just is not doing it for me. I really wish this wasn't a thermal. And again, because thermals can dye, it is possible that this one could stay in that eggplanty color, but I just don't want to take the chance just in case it doesn't. So yeah, I will be skipping on this one, but if you happen to know of a polish that looks like this one in the cold state, please leave it down below because I am so in love with it. So let's move on to the next chunk, and here I'm also not really loving what I'm seeing, at least to the point where I would want to add it to my collection. The majority of these definitely are super unique polishes for sure, but honestly, just nothing that's really my vibe. I mean, if anything, the Cleona Cosmetics is really gorgeous, but I just feel like it's not going to be something I end up actually wearing often. So let's just keep it moving on to page 2. Okay, so for this page, I kind of like the Danglefoot one. I just love those golden shimmers that are just super sheer and ethereal, but I feel like again it sort of reminds me of something I kind of have. Not exactly, but it kind of gives me the same vibes as Cirque's Moonbeam. That one just has more of like a white base. I think this is more of like a sheer nudish sort of color. Really, really cute though. And yeah, this is inspired by Sonic, which I do love, but I'll be skipping that for now. Then there's the Ethereal Lacquer Careful I Bite, and this is inspired by Asterion. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing, but this is from Baldur's Gate 3, which I have not played yet. I think this is the guy with like white hair though, if I'm not mistaken, but this is a really pretty polish. I just feel like I might have something similar. I do like that this kind of has like a purpley tone to it. It says a clear base full of rainbow shifting aurora that shifts green, pink, copper to violet at extreme angles. So yeah, I do like that green to violet sort of color shift. I think that's really, really pretty. Definitely very glowy, definitely giving all the ethereal fairy-like vibes, which you know I love. I actually think I might add this to my wish list just because even though it is kind of similar to other sheer ethereal whites that I have, I really don't think I have one that has this green to purple shift. So yeah, we'll just keep it in there for now, but that's pretty much it for this chunk, I would say. So let's move on. So okay, interesting that the fancy gloss this month looks pretty similar to last month's, maybe just like a little bit more blue. Then there's this Garden Path lacquers, which this one looks really, really pretty. I did see Caitlin swatch this one, and I know a lot of people have been loving their contributions for polish pickup the past couple of months. And again, don't get me wrong, I definitely think it's a really pretty polish. It's like super glowy and just so interesting with its finish, where it's kind of like these super tiny little micro glitters. I do really like this shade of blue, but I don't know, I'm just so on the fence over it. I'm trying to think if I have another polish that might be similar to this one in my collection, and the only ones that I can think of color-wise might be from Cirque. I feel like Wipeout has a similar bright aqua shimmer in like a medium blue sort of base, but obviously totally different finish-wise. So let me just add it to my wish list for now, but I could see this one being cut, honestly. Okay, so going back, I did see Caitlin also swatch the Glisten and Glow, which was inspired by Animal Crossing, and it definitely is cute, but I'm not the biggest fan of the color combination. I really like the base color, but I don't know, there's just something about it that I'm not super in love with, so I will be skipping that. And yeah, not really drawn to anything else, so let's keep it moving. And okay, so here, immediately, I need to look at this Jen Berries called Valley Girl, and I did try to get into Stardew Valley a couple of years ago, but I feel like the time in the game moved so fast, and so it just stressed me out. I felt like there was just so much that I needed to do, and it was not what I was expecting. I also went in completely blind, so maybe I needed to watch some videos to like better understand what I needed to do. So yeah, not a great experience, and I never went back to it. Back to the polish. Okay, I don't want to say that I was catfished. I feel like that might be like a little, mean or something, but I don't love the rest, or I guess the majority of the swatch photos. I like the first one where you see that really beautiful pink and orange kind of shift, but yeah, I am just not super crazy about how it looks in other lighting. So that is kind of a letdown, but not that big of a deal because I just saved myself $13.75. I'm also immediately drawn to this Kathleen & Co. called Tropical Freeze, inspired by Donkey Kong. This one is really, really pretty. I love this type of finish where it's like that shimmer, but then there's this hollow flaky in there. I kind of wish the base in this one was a little bit more green. I mean, it's described as a pale minty green. I don't know, maybe it's just the way that it's looking on my end. It just doesn't look super green. It's more of like an aqua blue heavy polish. I think I'm still chasing after that blue shimmer in a green base similar to Phoenix's Bulba from like January, I think. So yeah, this one just doesn't feel green enough for me. Still really pretty though, but won't be adding it. The Lucky 13 lacquer, I suck. This is inspired by Kirby. Okay, that's cute. Oh, there's only the one swatch photo, so I don't love that. I wish there were more to be able to see this polish in different lighting and all of that. It definitely looks really gorgeous here. Like, I am such a sucker for this really bright bubblegum pink jelly base, and it's filled with pink/gold aurora pigment and a rainbow of color shifting iridescent microflakes, which is totally up my alley. But yeah, I really do wish there were some more photos just to kind of see how it looks, how it changes in different lighting. But man, if Cirque can make a pink jelly that looks just like the base in this one, I would be so happy. But okay, before I do skip it entirely, I did just read that second sentence about how it glows under black light, it glows in the dark, kind of like orangey, and it comes with these tiny yellow stars. That is actually so cute, and I am tempted because of the 15 ml size for $12. I feel like that is such a deal, so that's definitely really tempting. It's such a fun polish. Maybe I will add it to my wish list for now, and then I can look up some more photos on social media just to see if other people posted this one. Not that I especially care about glow-in-the-dark polishes or anything, but it's just a cool, fun little extra thing, you know? So, okay, going back, we are moving on to page 3. And okay, I saw some swatches of Lumen's Aurora Beam, and it is another really tempting one. This is inspired by the Aurora Beam move in Pokemon. Aurora Beam is a pink tinged base with a strong indigo to green to violet to pink Aurora shift saturated with scattered hollow. So I'm not gonna lie, I don't totally see the indigo, I guess maybe at the very edges of the nail and the bottle. Yeah, it's kind of in like extreme lighting, you see it more. I do like the subtle pink tinged base, but I do wish that it was a bit more pink, because my problem with Lumen is that they are just very, very sheer. Granted, I only tried one, but from what I've read about Lumen polishes and from what I can see from these swatch photos, they are just super, super sheer. But yeah, this one definitely seems like it would be a super glowy, super shifty one, especially when you're like indoors and you have like different lighting sources. When you have a more direct light source, it doesn't look that impressive, honestly. So it's pretty, but you know what? I'm just gonna skip it for now. I think I can live without it. The Linby Designs looks really pretty. Wanna Woohoo? Okay, this is definitely a Sims polish. Inspired by the Sims 4 Woohoo icon. Deep purple with a fiery red to orange shifting shimmer. I love this color combination, but I just feel like it's something I don't wear super often. But it's just so tempting because I love The Sims and it is just so pretty. But no, let me just not even add it to my wish list, because I know myself, as pretty as this is, I feel like I'm gonna end up regretting it just because I'm not gonna end up wearing it. But man, that red shimmer, I am just such a sucker for. It is so gorgeous, but I really think I could also live without this one. So the only other polish that's kind of jumping out at me in this chunk is the Monarch Lacquer, Our Princesses in Another Castle, which I'm pretty sure is, yeah, inspired by Super Mario Brothers. And this one is like a purple to red to orange shifting multi-chrome shimmer. It does kind of give me Cirque Very Valentino vibes because of that purple to red, but this one looks a little bit more fiery because of the orange, and I feel like there's even hints of pink in there, which is really cool. You know what? This one is actually really tempting. If you watched my favorite multi-chromes video, I feel like you would not be surprised by me saying this at all, but yeah, I love that like pink color that's popping out in some of the photos, and like the more orangey shift that you see in extreme angles. It's really cool. But again, I don't really end up wearing my multi-chrome super often, so I will be skipping this one for now too. So yeah, let's just get back out of there because I could kind of see myself regretting skipping that one, but you know what? I'm not even gonna think about it. Okay, so for this next chunk, definitely some beauties here. I think that Night Owl is really pretty, but also kind of reminds me of Olive Ave's Calla Lily, just in a more sheer kind of shimmery base. I want to check out the Paint It Pretty polish, Dancing Cats, inspired by Dancing Cats from Sea of Thieves, a blurple base with blue to purple shimmer and flakies shifting through teal, blue, and purple. This is another super gorgeous one, but I feel like it looks... Oh my gosh, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Danglefoot Polish's Irresistible, but a little bit darker and like a bit more of that blurple leaning color. I think in some lightings it can kind of pass maybe, but just this color combination of like these bright iridescent aqua flakies in this sort of base color, I feel like it could pass. So I know there is a chance that Irresistible could come back for Rewind in July, but if you don't want to risk it, maybe this one is worth getting because it is really, really pretty. And I would also guess that maybe this one is a little bit more on the opaque side too, because I don't really see a lot of nail line in these swatches. And the Danglefoot one definitely was pretty sheer even on 3 coats. So yeah, this one is beautiful, but I will not be getting it. But okay, this Pampered Polishes Mako, this is definitely a Final Fantasy polish. Yep, inspired by Final Fantasy. Pastel mint creme base with a subtle holographic effect and silver glitter. So as a Final Fantasy fan, I love the idea of it. I mean, I think it is a really pretty polish, but I kind of wish there was like a little something more to it maybe. It does look cool how bright and almost aqua leaning it can look here in this lighting, but it is also on like a deeper skin tone. On this lighter one, honestly, it kind of reminds me of Olivav's Sage, which is a discontinued polish. I think this one has a little bit more of a bluish tinge to it. But yeah, I wish there was just something else to this. I love the reference, but yeah, I'm gonna try to not be weak and just get the polish for the reference. So let's go back out of there. Of course, I have to also look at the Penelope Luz because this is called Final Fantasy, inspired by the Final Fantasy poster with Zack and Cloud. Okay, shut up. I'm actually not even quite sure the exact poster they're referencing, but this is so tempting. I literally was just saying not to be a sucker for the theme. I think maybe if this was actually called like Zack and Cloud, I would get it, but just because it's called Final Fantasy, I don't know. I'm trying, you can hear, I'm trying to talk myself out of it. It is really pretty though. It's described as a baby turquoise with intense purple shimmer, and it kind of looks like there's a delicate hollow sparkle, but not super apparent. The shimmer definitely is like the main focus. I don't know what to do. I'm so conflicted. It's a pretty polish. I want to just add it to my wish list, but I really do like the color though, like the base color especially. The shimmer is pretty. Let's add it to my wish list just because I can for now, and let's keep it moving to these next 2 rows, which are the final 2, at least the last 2 for this page. So for this chunk, the first one that caught my eye is the Sassy Cats, but I actually do want to talk about the Phoenix one first, called Ivy. So in my Fairy Core video, somebody commented saying that they would love to see my favorite Goblin Core polishes, and don't get me wrong, I love the concept of that. I just don't think I would be able to deliver based off of what I have in my collection. So if you are looking for Goblin Core swampy chic colors, I think I would recommend Phoenix's Ivy. It really has that like almost putrid green base. The shimmer is really pretty though, but yeah, just not exactly my cup of tea, but I do think it's like a beautiful polish on other people. But yeah, I needed to point that out. So let's jump into the Sassy Cats one. This is called Seaside Kingdom, inspired by Mario Odyssey, a jade base with a glowy blue shimmer. I really, really like this one. I feel like it kind of, in a way, reminds me of Phoenix's Bulba, but again, this is like more blue leaning. Like it's described as a jade base, but it's just reading very seafoam to me. I would consider jade to be a lot more green than this one is, but I still really, really love the color. And it also, if anything, maybe reminds me a little bit more of Beesney's Lacquer Make Your Brother Proud, which I missed out on. And I was thinking of waiting for that to come back, but honestly, I think I might like this one a little bit more just because the color is like a bit punchier. It looks to be a little bit more opaque too. So you know what? I'm gonna put this on my wish list. This might be my first Sassy Cats polish. It is really, really pretty. I feel like if anything, the base color also does remind me of Mooncat's Earth to Gaia, which I do like as a polish, but I really love the blue shimmer that's in this one more than the pink in Earth to Gaia. So going back out, the only other polish I kind of want to look at just because these photos are like so tiny is this red-eyed lacquer that is apparently inspired by Tetris. Okay, I kind of like that purple base color. It's an interesting formula and finish. Like, it looks very like glittery, sparkly. Yeah, it's interesting. I could see a lot of people loving this one, especially if you're like a hardcore purple polish lover, but I think I can skip out on this one. So finally, we are at the last page. And oh, okay, I was like, wait, we're getting t-shirts now, but it looks like 2 of them don't have any photos yet, so kind of a shame. But other than that, I mean, I guess the Watcha and Wildflower are pretty. The Watcha kind of reminds me of the one Lumen called Aurora Beam. I feel like they have a really similar shift. Inspired by playing PlayStation with my baby, beige Crelly with green blue shimmer. Okay, so they don't really have like all the colors that the Lumen shade had. And yeah, this is definitely more of like a beigey base. Oh, man, I really wish that the, what was it called? Aurora Beam, that the pink base was just a lot more apparent. I definitely would have added it otherwise. And yeah, the Wildflower lacquer, it's on, inspired by Donkey Kong. It's nice, but just not really grabbing my attention. I feel like this kind of reminds me of a less exciting Mooncat's Siren Deceit. Like, this photo, the shimmer is shimmering, but in the majority of the other photos, it just kind of feels like a little flat. So yeah, not excited about that. And then the last polish that we have is a zombie claw, so we might as well just tap into it. It's called Psychedelic Zombie. And yeah, this is not really my cup of tea either, but it's a fun polish. Like, I could see this being fun for like Halloween or something. But yeah, so before we go into my wish list, I want to again look at the hand and nail care, mainly for the KB Shimmer Scrub. Yeah, let me just not even look at the other oils and whatnot. Okay, so we have Citrus Explosion. This is gonna be tempting. Inspired by energy drinks. That's actually so funny. Okay, does it say what exactly? Citrus flavored soda and energy drinks. Orange, lemon, lime, and grapefruit. This sounds really, really yummy. I feel like especially for like the warmer months. I also love the colors, but I think I am gonna skip out on it just because even though it's like this citrus medley, I feel like citrus is a pretty common sort of scent. I can probably end up finding something similar in Target or something, so I would rather wait until there's like a little bit more of a unique scent combination, but it is really tempting. Hopefully I don't regret it, but maybe it'll be left over on the KB Shimmer website. Okay, so since I won't be adding that, let's just take a look at my wish list. So as of right now, I have 5 polishes here. I have Ethereal, Garden Path, Lucky 13, Penelope Luz, and Sassy Cat's Lacquer. And actually, let's go back to the polishes because I feel like there's a few others that I was like debating adding to my wish list. It's honestly mainly the Aurora Beam shade from Lumen. As you know, I'm just such a sucker for those like super opalescent cellophane type of polishes, and that one is really, really beautiful. But honestly, it is kind of similar to the Ethereal one. I mean, it makes sense because they're like mother-daughter brands, and so maybe because of that, I will stick with the Ethereal because it looks like it's a little bit more opaque. Like, it's still a shimmery sheer, but just not as sheer as Lumen. I feel like a lot of Lumen polishes, like the swatches that I've seen at least, are so incredibly sheer where they basically could be toppers. So yeah, actually, you know what? Let's undo that. Let me remove that from my wish list. So as of right now, the 4 that I have are the Sassy Cats, which I'm for sure getting, the Penelope Luz Final Fantasy shade, which honestly, I'm now debating it just because I'm like, I feel like this is such a loose reference. So I could see myself talking myself out of this one. But I also have the Lucky 13 lacquer, which I think I might be keeping because I do really love that pink base color. I just want a pink jelly just like that. And I'm fine with like the iridescent flakies in it. I think the little star glitters are gonna be cute. I probably won't wear them that often, but the polish itself is super gorgeous, so I don't think I would regret getting it. Like, I love pink and I wear pink often, so I feel good about having that one. And then the ethereal one is another one that is very similar to other shades that I like, just slightly different because again, I don't think I have this like white base Crelly that shifts from green to purple shimmer, and I feel like I've just missed out on a few ethereal PPU shades before. Like Ether Dragon is one that I regret missing out on. I know that this isn't really similar to that, at least I don't think it is. So yeah, I would just rather get this one and be safe than sorry type of thing. And so the only other polishes I was thinking of adding to my wish list were the Linby Designs Wanna Woohoo and the Monarch Lacquer one. I think they are so beautiful. They definitely would be pretty unique to my collection, so that definitely is a plus, but yeah, I just feel like I wouldn't end up wearing them. So those are two that I'm just gonna hope I don't regret skipping out on. So that wraps up my April polish pickup wish list. So as always, I would love to know what you think of what I have in my wish list. Of course, you have to share what's in yours, or just let me know what you thought of this month's theme in general, because I feel like a lot of you guys also do like video games. And so I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on them, because I honestly feel like just pretty let down this month. I know that I didn't go into every single listing, so it's possible that I just missed some polishes and missed some references to games that I do love. But yeah, from the ones that I saw, I just wasn't super in love with them. Like, I really was hoping to see more like Final Fantasy VII, and after thinking about it, I think I am gonna remove the one Penelope Luz from my wish list because I feel like it's just such a vague reference to the game. For example, I was kind of expecting something more in line with Plus Life Lacquer's Final Fantasy VII collection. I'm wearing two of the shades right now that I picked up somewhat recently. This is Let's Mosey and Train Graveyard. Like, I just loved the very specific references to the original game and how the colors just perfectly line up with the inspiration. I think that's what I just expected to see more of with this month's polish pickup, and yeah, I just was a little let down. I mean, a lot of the shades are pretty, but I feel like I was just kind of missing that perfect combination of like, this is a beautiful polish, and they like nailed the reference. I'm even reconsidering adding the Linby Designs, the Wanna Woohoo shade, because I feel like that's just such a spot-on shade for the reference. But I'm not trying to buy anything that I don't need or that I'm not gonna wear. I did see that Plus Life Lacquer mentioned she was gonna be doing a few other kind of like installments for the Final Fantasy VII collection. So I think I might just keep my eyes out for that, because yeah, this month wasn't super impressed, but I wanted to love the theme, so I'm a little let down. But make sure you let me know what you think down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!